So
What's up, guys? We're Fat Skids, and we're here with the Finish My Story.
So, in order to do this, it's like an improv sort of game. So we're going to be creating a story or whatever, basically out of nothing. But, we wrote down some stuff, different random-ass things, and we put them all into a hat. Random stuff
we put, Inception, McGropingstein, and Wild West, which are going to tie into the story somehow.
Yeah. So, while you're going, you have to pick 3 from the hat, and you have to somehow find a way to, put that into the story.
You're gonna add as much as you can to the story until you can't add any more, or you run out of ideas, and then the next person's gonna go.
Yeah. Which probably isn't going to be very easy, because there's a lot of...
There's a lot in there.
There's a lot.
So, let us know how you guys thought of this, and keep in mind that this is improv, so it's probably going to be shit.
Yeah, we saw.
Alright, we're going to start this story off with... We're going to be in World War I, right? We're going to be in, this small, shelter shack thing. And there's going to be 3 people. Me, Jaden, and Daniel. We're going to have to make ass-warm bread, or whatever, because it's a long... It's gonna be a long winter or whatever. We're just stuck in this fucking, shack-looking thing. And what we have to strip one of these people from his layers. So yeah.
So we're in this old shack, right? And he forgot to mention Gaston was there too. So and also Jane had an infection on his toe, his big toe, and It's a really bad infection, so he's shedding his candy corn all over the floor, right? It's really nasty. So, Gaston's you know how he fixed Jane's big toe disease, right? I have to stroke him. So, Gaston begins stroking Jane, right? And Jane is still shedding candy corn all over Gaston's he's nasty, alright? Meanwhile, me and Adolf are holding off the Germans because as Gaston is stroking Jane and his candy corn, the Germans are busting in, right? They're breaking the windows, they're shouting Mein Kampf and shit like that, go.
Alright, well, as I'm being stroked by Gaston, we start hearing Ave Maria playing very, very loudly as, the Germans finally bust through, and there's this weird German that kind of looks like Leonardo DiCaprio, but I don't know, maybe a little hairier. As it takes Daniel from behind and just starts demolishing him, in the ass.
Alright, so Danny's getting demolished in the ass by a Leonardo DiCaprio looking Nazi. And while this is all happening, Jaden's in the back, still getting stroked by Gaston. They're completely in their own world, not caring, giving a care in the world. I'm over here, still at the window, holding off Nazis, but what do I see over the horizon? BDSM Mike Wazowski being led by McGropingstein and an army of penguins with jetpacks. They're all they all have jetpacks. They're flying towards us, and they're just rape ass! And we're just oh shit, everybody can hear it. Everybody instantly gets focused, and we pull out our Panzer Shreks, because those are the best weapons, available to us at the time. We're gonna fucking die, but we're trying to hold them off. So we pull out our Panzer Shreks or whatever, and we're just it'd be a good idea if we all shoot 5 feet in front of us.
So we whip out our Panzer Shreks, right? Jane and Gaston stop stroking each other, and they whip out their Panzer Shreks too, right? And Leonardo DiCaprio sees him, and he's oh! He stops finally raping Danny Man in the ass, right? And so he's look, I'll help you guys out, but you need to make with the pudding pop, right? So Adolf is sent to do that with Leonardo DiCaprio, while me, Jane, and Gaston hold off the BDSM, Mike Wazowski, and Mick Gropingstein, right? Mick Gropingstein brought his own people with Mike Wazowski to, help out in this all-out war. He brought the cat people, right? And, all the meanwhile, over Audie Marie, right, is playing Hail to 1,000 Ducks, right? So, basically, that song is over loop each other, right? And it's like, hell to 1,000 dogs. They have a dog flag, right? And so finally, you and Leonardo DiCaprio stop making the pudding pop, right? So we were like, well, if we're gonna make this effective, we need a way for them to get 5 feet away from us, and that's how we're gonna win this war. Go.
All of a sudden, Ave Marie stops playing, and so does Hail to 1,000 Ducks. It just goes completely quiet. We look outside, and it looks like, BDSM Mike Wazowski, McGropingstein, the Penguins, the Cat People, just everyone are just getting ready for this huge battle. But it's kind of like a piece before. And we're getting ready with our Panzerschrecks. Leonardo DiCaprio declines a Panzerschreck. Instead, he pulls out his weapon, balls in a sling. So Adolf looks outside, and he sees, BDSM Mike Wazowski and McGropingstein. And he sees McGropingstein kind of evolve into a being who could only be described as Ass Vader. He turns to BDSM Mike Wazowski and slays him and, says he's going to command the Penguins and the Cat People himself. And to describe this to us, all Adolf could say was, he Bill Cosby'd it. Go.
Right, so all this shit is happening, but we're gonna go back to Leo. So he's armed with balls and a sling, right? And apparently he puts on apple-bottom jeans just before he goes out to battle his own people, specifically, because apparently he's done this before. So Danny is offended by this, so he turns his Panzerschreck and he fucking fires, killing off Leonardo DiCaprio-looking ass instantly. Right, and we're just like, everybody's just like, what the fuck? Gaston is like, oh! He does some kind of weird chant, and I take this as a threat, so I I punch him in the face and then I stab him in the ass, and he bleeds out to death. We don't really see him die, but he bleeds out. We become savages in this moment because we've been, there's like this portal thingy. There's a portal that can go. It's a time machine, basically. But it's leaking radioactive gases on us. So we're getting angry at each other, right? We're becoming more and more, wanting to kill each other. Just before we do kill each other, though, we hear Ass Vader say, "I'm going to steal asses and take names." So he's like full speed. He grabs a penguin or whatever and he starts chucking him. He lights him on fire and he starts chucking him at the building. So this is his new weapon now. He's just fucking throwing all the penguins at the building. So we have no choice because this building is toppling down on us. So we have to go into the time machine. We step in and we're in the Wild West. But the portal's still open. And once the building's finished, they all come through the portal. And some of them are boiled, like the penguins, I guess, because they can't stand the heat of the Wild West. So they're boiled to death, all of them. So
Vader and the Cat People, right? They're coming after us, right? We decided to whip out our Panzerschrecks, right? But Jane is too scared, so he runs into the saloon, and he's screaming like a little, right? And the townspeople are like, "What the fuck?" So while that's happening, we are shooting at these Cat People, right? We're wailing on them, and for the moment we're winning, right? But then Vader uses his force, right? He picks Adolf up by the right, pulls out his saber, and cuts it off.
He cuts off my ass?
Yes. And so you're bleeding. Adolf's bleeding out, right? And so I'm there like, oh shit. So I pull up my Panzerschreck, right? And I fire at Vader, but he uses Adolf's to block it, right? Sending the rocket flying back at me. And it blows me to pieces. And in the way, Jenny comes out, he's like, all my friends are gone, what am I gonna do? And everyone in the town, everyone in the saloon is freaking out, right? But Jane spots at a table, and he sees they're laying on it were peppermint patties. And Jane's like, it's common knowledge that Cat People find peppermint patties to be very unsatisfying, right? So he he chucks a bunch of peppermint patties at the cat people, right? And Vader picks one up because Vader loves peppermint patties. So the cat people see this, like, well, screw you, man. And then they just leave Vader, right? And Vader's like, where are you going? And the cat people just leave through the portal. And it turns out Vader only drew his power from the cat people because he is a cat person, right?
He evolved.
Okay, he evolved into a cat-ass Vader. Alright,
So he's cat-ass Vader?
yeah. So, Jaden walks up to Vader, decks him in the face, and Vader begs for mercy, right? He's like, what can I do to have your mercy? And Jaden's like, get to your knees and start sulking, right? So, Vader begins pulling down Jaden's pants, right? His dog is 2 inches from Vader's mouth, but then all of a sudden we hear a gunshot and Vader's brains get blown all over Jaden's dong, right? And Jaden's freaking out. And he looks to see Gaston standing in front of him. And he's like, Gaston, what are you doing here? Gaston looks at him and shoots Jane, right? And then Gaston shoots himself. And then we wake up in a new setting to find that all of us are in one room with it turns out we were all incepting each other.
Yeah, this is all one big Inception plot.
Yeah, and who were we incepting? Well, it was Jaden to plant the idea that shedding his corn was bad. Shedding his candy corn was a bad thing. Because he had a problem, right? Because of the infection on his big toe, the side effect was he wanted to shed his corn all over the place. So, his parents hired us to incept him. To plant the idea that, shedding his corn was bad. But, because of the way his subconscious was, we never got to that. So, James just wakes up, he's like, oh shit, I'm back home. And he starts shedding his corn all over the floor. Right? And then we're just like, mission failed, we'll get him next time. And that's how we survived World War II in Jaden's head.
It's World War I.
World War I.
Yeah, that's why there's no fucking nonsense, you idiot.
Wait, okay, fine.
No, it's done. The story's done.
The end.
The end.